Okay, so this topic is going to be for the theys, the thems, the gays, and the she's, and the hers. These are the top 3 mistakes that you're making in your relationships, and this is a huge topic that I cover. Actually, I do cover in my practice. If you're not familiar with me, I'm trying to make more of these kind of videos now. This is my goal for 2026, is to help people get unstuck, because there's been a lot of problems with us being stuck. So the top 3 mistakes. Why do you do them? So the top one is, it felt comfortable, it felt familiar. So that is like a huge, that's a huge topic just in itself, because that's just a ton of shadow work that you must do that, Mr. Crow here can help you with. But, the shadow work is so important for you to do. And I'm going to get my Crow Tarot. I'm going to get that out. So it felt familiar. How many times have we done this? And it doesn't matter if you realize it or not. It's something that we do. It felt comfortable. So even if it was bad, even if you knew it was bad, it felt familiar. So we're going to ask Spirit about that, about feeling familiar and why we do it. Let's get to the root cause. Because there's a power struggle in this, do you see? And not only is there a power struggle outside of it, also inside of you. Your mind, your body, your soul. There's this power struggle, and it's just like, I don't know if I have the strength, and I do have the strength. So you only have 2 ways of strengths. Strength to get out and fight it and go away from the situation, or to have the energy to battle with the person. But you don't have energy for both. Did you hear that? You only have energy for battling within yourself, protecting yourself, and getting yourself out of the situation, and or battling the person, but not for both scenarios, okay? And that's why you stay stuck. Bam. The Hanged card in reverse. It's just something that really messes with your mind. Nothing is holding me back, but something is holding me. It's like something's got me caught by the leg. I'm still stuck. The Hanged card in reverse is, you're not stuck, but you just keep hanging on anyway. Do you see how he's still hanging on even though the card's reversed? And that is something that people, I go on circles of people. I'm like, why do you think it is? I don't know. And I tell them, it's because you are in the battlefield. The lion. You go between the cowardly lion to the roaring lion. One is ferocious and one is fearful. And you cannot, like I said before, I said it twice, I'm not going to say it again. It felt familiar even though it was not good for you, okay? The other thing is, it's a temporary fix, or you just do it to appease whoever it is in your life, in your relationships. Could be family, could be relationships, could be anything, could be, romantic, could be friendships, whatever. It was like a temporary fix. You know how some people are just so, I've had clients like this too. I had one particular client that has ran me into the ground, and I had some major health problems because of it. And I just, it's kind of like, I knew it was going on. I knew it was going to have to come to an end at some point. But at the same time, it was just kind of like, I just thought if I could get this person to see their battle and their struggle, that I could get them out of their own head. And no, sometimes you just can't. Because they want you to be there in that cage, in their brain, like that movie with Jennifer Lopez. What was it? The Cell. Stuck in their own little cell, and they want you in there. And it's just not fun in there. It's scary in there. And the temporary fix, I've also you think, oh, I'll just tell them blah, 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 just to appease them, and then it'll be like, the solution will be there. They'll see that what I'm talking about. They'll understand. No, they never will understand. And the temporary fix of, oh, I'm just going to do this for now because this will pass. And it never does. And it turns out to be something you get stuck in. So we're going to ask about the second problem. The Death card. It's a cycle that needs to end. And so what is this about? Transformation, the soul leaving the body, It's sometimes things that have to end. Sometimes don't end well, just so you know. Sometimes you can't prevent the ending. Some try to control the ending of, I hope this doesn't end badly. But inside of your, in your heart and in your solar plex, you just know this is just going to not go well. It's just going to not go well, and I don't know how to stop it. And it's like a freight train, but see what happens. It's very dramatic, and it happens anyway. You can't control that. And that's a lot of it too, is we want to control that. And so that's what the other part we have to talk about is like our responsibility in it, which we'll talk about later. And what is the other card for this second problem? The Ten of Swords. So it could be someone you're having a difficult time dealing with, and they have really verbally hurt you a lot, and they have you beaten down, and you just can't move from that. But it also is something that has to come to an end. That's when things are forced to come to an end, when they're so bad you just can't stand it anymore. and it doesn't end well. So that's the part. Am I going to be the cowardly lion, or am I going to be the ferocious lion as far as my protecting my own self and my own life, and my own livelihood, my own money, my own sanity? The third thing is you didn't realize it was a problem. You were just kind of like in La La Land. And that's the thing, like sometimes when we have to especially when we have to coexist with people, we just think, and I did that with an ex, I call him the 8-year, because he was just the one who almost unalived me. I can't talk about that here, but I tolerated him, and it wasn't bad right off the bat. That's the thing. It's like the frog in the boiling water. It became bad. It was like, oh, I'll just, I'm going to do my own thing. I used to tell him that. I got to the point after 6 years, because it was okay in the beginning. We loved each other. We lived together from the very beginning, and it turned almost into 8-10 years. Year and a half of separating and bickering and awful stuff. But anyways, it was like, I just told him, you know what? I think you need to do you, boo, and I want to do me. But that just made him want to control me more. Because I was just like, it's not a problem. Okay, I'm not going to do what you want me to do. You're not going to do what I want you to do. So you go live your life. And I am going to do that too, because I always owned businesses. I've always owned companies. I've always done that. I've always been too busy to really care about what anyone says or anything about me. That's the thing too. Like, he was not on my respect level, my vibe level, my success level. He was like in the gutter, and I was his anchor. But you know what happens to anchors? They get dragged, okay? And before you realize that it's a problem, it's because you've been dragged through hell and back, okay? You've been dragged there and back. And then you go, you know what? I had a V8. This is a problem. And I just thought it was the problem I could appease and settle and control. Can't control other people. You can only control your own decisions, your own responses, and what you do with your own life. Correct? So that is a problem with the responsibility in it, because this is what the first card is. This is our significator for this reading. That struggle, the karmic cycle. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. And in relationships where there's power struggle, there's a downside, and the downside is a lot of times not fun. So Spirit, can you have like a close for our reading here so we can get the viewer to understand the shift, how to shift? The Page of Swords. Sometimes things just need to be kept to yourself. Sometimes you really need to just kind of learn to separate and step back from the person, even if you have to outright ignore them, or maybe even go to the library or a coffee shop or to the grocery store and just kind of silently meditate in the cheese section. Sometimes you have to do that. And or if you're me, go to the spa for the day and hang out by the pool, in the hot tub. And don't tell people your plans unless it's someone, like a counselor or someone you're talking to. But Page of Swords is like, you need to have time alone so you can hear the messages that your guides and that your spirit is trying to tell you. Your higher self is trying to talk to you, and you can't with all the noise. That's how you're going to really make the shift. The shift doesn't change until you change those 3 things, those bad habits. Now the 3 of Wands, and start making a plan. A plan that you can actually take action on and be consistent with. That's also like, you can't, you only have 2 arms. You can't hold on to 3 staffs. You have to pick the roads that you're going to travel on, and one has to be let go. And that's the problem with relationships when they get toxic. It becomes you or me. And that's why it can turn out very bad. And it shouldn't have to be like you versus me. If that's how it is, and it's going to be like, okay, I have to make a plan to make my own future. And I'm sorry, but you have to do that. And sometimes you're going to do things that people aren't going to like. And your friends and your family are going to tell you. You know what they're going to tell you? No. They would never do anything to hurt you. Or they were never, it's going to be fine. Or just tell them how you feel. I've been doing that. Sometimes people give you the worst advice, which can really keep you in that rose-colored denial, like La La Land phase where you're in trouble. And then we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. And if that person makes you just feel not good, right? Knight of Cups in reverse is, I am so tired of fighting. I throw my cup to the ground. I don't want any of it. I don't want to be filled with any of it. I don't feel like this is worth fighting for. I don't feel good in this. I feel stifled. I can't move forward in this. Then that's definitely your sign or this is your sign to make the shift in your workplace, your friendships, your relationships. And a lot of this is about communication with people that just isn't going well. This year has not been a good year for communication. It's actually been a year of denial and bad choices, is what this last year was. That we have to now learn from our choices, from mistakes, their relationships, and move forward. So if you're ready to make the shift, let me know. Comment and share. Let me know where you're at, or if you've done these, or if you feel like you're in one of them. And if you want to schedule with me, you can always find my page, and I am there. And thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you, because it's exactly the same things I experienced in my own problems and with other clients that I've dealt with. So please take care, and remember to write these 3 things down and to start assessing and start thinking, am I doing these things? And you must be journaling. And you have to find the time to do it. All right, take care.